Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Give us a rundown of what's going on.
So we submitted a proposal back in March, our application to change our sign. We actually back in 2010 rebranded the Y, and for some reason our branch did not get changed. Whenever I came up here in 2015, realized it. So I've been pushing to get our sign rebranded pretty much. And we have finally come to a conclusion. We had kind of some discrepancies with our YMCA of the USA guidelines and what we were using for our sign. So we have changed the color and actually the look from what was presented previously.
Okay.
So we are wanting to be in brand compliance, get a sign up there finally. That way the community knows that we are here.
Okay. And so we have a couple of pictures here. The, where was it? It says it's going to be 5 by 20 by 2. It's going to be an aluminum sign painted white with a vinyl graphic overlay. And the fascia will not be white. It will match the color of the brick as close as possible.
Correct.
So we have 2 images,
So it is the other one, the blue and purple.
the blue and purple. Is this one?
Yes.
Okay.
That one.
And then the fascia is going to be,
The color of the brick.
Okay.
Yes.
And from, the fascia is the back. So instead of this large white
Right.
strip here, this will all be brick colored?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
okay. I think that was pretty much one of the things that everybody kind of looked at and went,
Yeah.
we're going to ask about this. Does anybody have any other questions or concerns?
I see 2 things going on here, and this is exciting that we can do this, but number 1 is the sign itself, and number 2 is the facade of the building, the entresol windows. It's been the policy of the committee for years, if someone has a nationally recognized logo like YMCA, Century 21, Mobile Oil, whatever, that be allowed, as long as it's in keeping with size and placement on the building. So I think the new branding will be great.
Okay.
Would be great. One of the other concerns is the commission has not allowed plastic signs, internally illuminated or not internally illuminated. So if a sign like this was to be painted on a signboard or on the window, I mean, that's been acceptable. We've done that for a long time. The other, the other concern is that building has a series of entresol windows. You can see in the last picture. And the corrugated, I suppose it was fiberglass, was removed, and you can see maybe where the windows are, where those wood strips are. We don't know what's behind there, but what I would suggest, like we've done in other buildings in downtown Guthrie, like was done in the building next door to this one on the west, was a couple of things. Number 1, we'd open up that space where the entresol windows were, maybe with clear glass, frosted glass.
Can you
and
hold
then
that
you'll-
up? I can't remember what the old, okay.
If
So
you
you're
look at
talking
this
about-
picture, you can see this 1893 building had entresol windows up there, and most of the old buildings do in downtown, and they look so much. It really adds to the district if those are brought back to life. So something else, if we were to open up these areas, you have your 2 pilasters here, one on the west side of the building, one in the center. The other one is kind of painted, but there's some white paint up there. that could be removed to open up that view of the brick there, and then a sign could be attached across the windows, above the windows, on the main plate glass window, wherever you guys would feel appropriate. But, and this white strip right here at the very top with the red bricks above it, and probably the window openings below it, that's probably an I-beam, steel I-beam. You know, that could be painted brick color like we've done on a lot of these and brought back. So what we would do, we would be opening these windows up, and it'll be in keeping with the original architectural appearance. And like I said, we've done that on numerous buildings in downtown, but I would like to suggest that we take a look at doing that. And then the sign could be placed wherever would be appropriate for, you know, that you'd want to put it. But this is such a great opportunity to bring another building in the collection back online. And you can look at, drive up and down the streets, you can see many of these buildings have had those entresol windows.
How do you spell that?
Entresol starts with an E, French for enter the sun.
Entresol? Enter sun.
Entresol. So entresol. But
Can I Google that? I'm having a hard time picturing what that is because I don't know. I'm not familiar with it.
if you look at, I shouldn't say all, but many of the buildings downtown, very typical of the period, you have large plate glass windows at pedestrian level where you could stand there and look through the plate glass window. And then above it, you see these smaller windows that are over your top of the plate glass window. Kind of like that oval part, you know, that would be an entresol window to the main windows there. But that was a real common feature. You know, there's a lot of them in downtown Guthrie. Some of those over the years when they put the aluminum facades on down here in the 70s, a lot of those were covered up. But it's been a real battle on this commission over the years to encourage people to return that, because it's such an opportunity to have that building returned to to its original appearance. I think that would be something that I would like to see considered.
Yeah.
She knows.
I just drew that up. That's some downtown Guthrie building.
Oh,
Now, how that would work with your sign, I have no idea.
I think one of the reasons for the entresol windows originally.
Yeah, see, that's what this was, previous. Even just like, see over this door here, it's like the window is still behind there. Right, that's what you're talking about.
Sometimes they would just put wood up, plywood, or whatever, and cut that, and you'd come in, take them off, the glass is still there. But when I did my building,
Trying to think from the inside, that would be covered up with
And that sheetrock.
Probably drywall.
sheetrock, right?
Well, we would like to encourage you to investigate that a little bit
Okay.
and see if maybe that would be something that you guys could do.
Do you guys own this building?
We don't own it.
Who owns
It
the
is-
building?
It's owned by the Banjo Museum.
Okay.
Okay. So
Would
it's
you-
still owned by the Banjo Museum that's now in Oklahoma City?
well, it's owned by what's the man's name that owns it?
Johnny, what's the last name? His last name is slipping my mind.
Yes, okay.
But Johnny.
Well, you know, one of the things we've done in the past, when we have a question like this on an important project, sometimes we could meet down at the building, look up at it, the whole commission or part of the commission, go on the inside and look and try to carve out some kind of plan to do that. Another idea is there's probably a lowered panel ceiling in there like this one.
Yeah, there is.
That's also been dealt with on numerous buildings where that lowered ceiling is taken up. You come back from the entresol windows, 2 or 3 panels, and then it goes up. So, I mean, you could still have a lowered panel ceiling and incorporate reopen the entresol windows. I think that was an architectural feature back at a time when there was not a lot of significant electrical lighting. Ceilings were higher for ventilation and so on and so forth. I mean, that's part of that. But if you look at many of the buildings in downtown, especially the two-story buildings, you know, they have that. There are a few that are still covered, but
So if you could help talk to the building owner and help work with the commission and kind of help foster that that conversation about the windows and maybe recovering those a little bit, we would really love to work with you on that. But about your sign in particular, does anybody have any problems with the sign and so it can go up in the meantime?
well, I would say they probably ideally would be done together. We need to investigate whether or not the building owner would be willing to make that modification. And then at that time, we would decide, you could decide what size of the sign you'd want, where you'd want to place it.
Okay.
But I think in summation, using the YMCA, the new logo and their colors, you know, has traditionally supported that. And I think this would be the same case.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can go back and ask. Funding is the biggest issue, especially if the Banjo Museum is not willing to
Sure.
provide the funding for that. That would be us, which we don't have a lot of to do those kinds of.
Exactly. No, hardly anybody does.
Okay.
I would move that we just go ahead and approve the application and ask the applicant to get with the building owner, and feel free to contact somebody on the commission and investigate what Lloyd's talking about.
Sure.
It would be really cool to
Oh, yeah.
uncover what's there, especially if there's intact windows behind just a bunch of half-inch plywood or whatever
Right.
they put up there. I mean, that would just be great
Yeah.
if it's feasible. And I understand the Y's not going to be able to pony up
Yeah.
money to do something like that. But I'd just make a motion that we approve the application as submitted, but encourage the applicant to get with the building owner, see if the window stuff can't be addressed.
Well, should we?
Because I hate the hamstring. I mean, in the meantime, she needs some signage.
I've
Am
been
I right?
battling with signage for
She needs some signage.
over a
And-
year now, and I'm trying hard to get it up.
And if there's an aluminum sign up there and they investigate and see if they can do some of these things, it's not gonna be that much harder to bring it down and do it. I realize it'd be great if we could address it all at the same
Well, I
time.
think we need to investigate it if it works, and I can meet tomorrow or whenever group wants to go down there and investigate that, then come up with, you know, the right approach, because if those are opened up, it might change the size of your sign and the placement and so on. But I think they need to be done, one needs to be hinged upon the other. The approval of the sign needs to be hinged upon a decision, will the owner or will the owner not, you know, open those back up?
Well, I think we could approve this as it is, and then continue on with this conversation, and if the changes need to be made, and especially with work being budgeted for windows, then that could be a follow-up discussion. But in the meantime, because who knows, this could be 12 months from now before they can get the building owner and all the other parties involved.
I don't
So-
think it'd take that long.
Well, I work for the state,
No,
so
but-
I'm,
But in the meantime, if she goes to the building owner and the building owner says, not putting another dime in the building right now.
Well, that's the problem.
She ought to be able to put
I
a
mean,
sign
that's the problem that I see it. I mean, you know, not to talk negative about anybody involved, but if the sign is approved as is and the building owner's not gonna have the impetus, the encouragement that, yeah, let's go ahead and do this, let's do this right. But if we just approve the sign and then come talk to us later about the facade, I think they need to be tied in.
Well, and if you approve this and they were the least little bit interested in doing it, it'd end up costing more. It would end up costing more because they've got a sign up there and you're gonna cover all this, I imagine, right? You're gonna cover what's exposed now with material that goes all the way over it.
Like you had before, the corrugated, which I think was probably fiberglass, that's what, picture,
Okay, how about this? How about we approve the sign pending a letter and conversation with the building owner? And if you could get us the contact information, then we could together, as the commission, write a letter to him and say, this is what we would really like to see, this, and encourage him to come have a conversation with us.
I think we're gonna need another meeting. I think what we can say today, what I would like to say today, the sign looks good, we think we'll approve it, but let's see what progress we can make on the facade itself. And then if the owner says, yes, we'll do that, we can probably find him some architectural help or contractor help, and then come back and say, we're gonna do this, and the sign's included in that. I just hate right now to say the sign's okay, because it's not gonna, based on past experience on this commission, it's not gonna encourage the building owner to, do, the right thing.
This white, did you say this is gonna be, what's the material that this white's supposed to be? I know it's not gonna be white, but what is that
Ooh, what is
material?
the
Is it a
material?
flat surface?
It
Is
is gonna be a flat surface. I wanna say they were just coming in, with whatever is on there now, which is kind of a stucco look.
Or are they
No,
just
well,
putting up
It's
plywood?
probably
or-
metal panels or plastic panels for sign panels, what I would think, I don't know.
We talked about the sign a few months ago, and I don't remember what we actually said, but I know there was conversation about that back then, and there was some kind of compromise as to what could cover it that would look better than it does now,
Yes, it will look better than it does
Well,
now,
that's for
for
sure.
sure.
which,
That's true.
And it will
But
look
that
better
being
than
said,
it
if you've
has
got a,
before because of the corrugated, yeah.
I can tell you that going to the Banjo Museum, they're not gonna care either way to do the windows or not do the they don't really have a stake in our sign being put up. So it's not gonna matter to them one way or the other. They're probably going to say no, but we can work with them to hopefully get that changed. But they're not gonna care whether our sign goes up or not.
Yeah, and I'd hate for you guys to be hindered in the process.
Yeah.
Well, if it comes to pass that there would be a facade change and we get to the point we need to approve a sign and the sign placement and the sign size, we can do that in 2 days, 3 days. So, that's not gonna hold anybody up. But I think at this point, it would be good to see if we could get the building owner to bring one of our buildings back online.
But how long have you already been without a sign?
11 months?
11 months.
Almost 12?
It's almost been a full year.
Oh, no, it's been over a year. Sorry,
it-
it was October of last year,
Okay.
so it's been over a year.
But that wasn't our fault.
No.
No.
But
You're right.
We can move with the speed
There-
of light.
And I
I
can
think
tell
you're
you,
very
let's
optimistic.
put him in charge
Well,
of
we've
that.
done it.
We-
We've done it. We've had people come
Here's-
in.
what happened is I did not know, I'm not from Guthrie. I came here and the previous city manager told me that I didn't need to do anything. We started taking down the sign and then, was it Cody? That was the previous. Cody came to me and said, whoa, what are you doing? So that's where I found out that you guys existed. And so that was the issue
Right.
in the beginning.
We've been doing this since 1978. We had the first historic preservation ordinance in the state of Oklahoma and commercial district. So we've fought these battles over the years and had some really great successes. And you can see the visitors that come to this town and the reaction, what Guthrie is becoming thanks to that. But if it would be possible to bring this building back online, I say back online, but so it visually, goes back, I mean, that would be such an asset to the downtown.
Sure.
So I think we need to take an opportunity like this and try to, see if we can make it work.
What's your time frame? Are you like ordering signage tomorrow?
Yes, if it's approved, I'm ordering signage tomorrow.
That's what I figured.
Well, if we have to stall this for a few days so we figure out what we might want to do, with the facade, then we can meet, open meeting law, we gotta have 48 hours?
48 hours.
We can meet at 48 hours, because we don't want to drag this out any longer than we have to. But this is so important to the district to be able to do that and bring it back, I mean, visually like it was. And this is one of those golden opportunities that we've had over the years to do that, so, I'd like to explore that.
Thoughts from commissioners about how best to go about this?
What?
Well, I hate hope. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear, I didn't wear my hearing aids. What did you say?
Thoughts from commissioners?
How to best go about this? How to work with the building owner, encourage the building owner, but not hinder the YMCA?
Well, and I just don't want her to have to come back to us to get permission. I'd like to see some kind of
Because I see them,
provisional approval. If all it is the applicant agrees to put Ludd in contact with the building owner, and I'm sure she would be glad to do that. And if there is a chance, and the applicant also agrees to wait until Ludd, and I'll go with you if you need a referee, whatever, to see if there is a chance the building owner wants to do
Sure.
anything. I mean, we don't have any authority. We can't make the building owner do this, obviously.
Well, no, we can't. and
But
We've never been
and
able
I-
to do that, but we have facilitated some of these
Sure.
changes in the district over the years, which everybody's happy about that.
And I understand, and I'm all for I'd love to see this all restored back to,
would you be willing to give us a week, at least, to get in contact with the building owner and try to get appointments set up with him?
Sure.
okay.
As long as I don't have to come back and do this
Sure.
all over again.
Yes.
Perfect.
So we can make a motion.
Okay.
We could meet without you.
I
Right.
don't think we need to approve the sign now. I don't think we can. I don't think we want to. I think we need to impress upon the building owner, can we work together and do this? Because if we go ahead and approve as is, the building owner's not gonna have any
Motivation.
encouragement to maybe
Well, the building owner already doesn't have any stake in their sign. I see them as two separate issues.
well, absolutely, but they are hinged together.
I just feel like, and I haven't been on the Preservation Commission long, but I feel like one of our primary goals is to try to get these buildings back to their historical significance.
Appearance.
And whenever we have an opportunity, unfortunately, I think for you, that if this whole thing hadn't been ripped off like this, and it wasn't so revealed, it would just be changing a sign. But now you're talking about, it's sort of a remodel to the front of the building as it is now. It's not just a signage deal. It's, can this historical building be made whole? And until we get an answer to that, I don't think it's too much to ask to wait a week if you don't have to be here.
Do you not wanna come see us again?
I am trying to get this sign up.
Not only does she want to get
I've
the
been
sign,
without one for so long.
we also need a quorum to meet again, which sometimes, we need a quorum to meet again if we don't
That's
approve
Right,
something,
right.
which sometimes is a problem with this commission, especially with the holidays.
Exactly.
Hey, I'll be there. Lynn will be there.
I'll be there.
Joe will be there. You guys.
I have meetings.
She has meetings.
I have meetings all week.
I hate to be hard-nosed about it, but we've crossed this bridge 100 times since 1978. We have an opportunity to solve a problem or make the district better, to preserve, the appearance of another structure. I mean, it's just a golden opportunity. And we've pulled that out of the fire numerous times. And maybe someone didn't like it going into it, took a little bit more, but once it's done, it's gonna last for a long time. I mean, that's what's so difficult about being on this commission, I feel, is that you go through life, you kinda like to,
Well, and the reason this happened in the first place, because there wasn't a commission. The reason these windows went away was because there wasn't a historical commission at the time. These windows were here at one time, and the reason they were changed was there was no one protecting the historical integrity of downtown at the
Okay.
time.
So is anybody going to make a motion? We keep talking in circles.
You make the motion, I'll second it, because you know what you want to say.
well, I mean, you know, I would move that we table the application and with a notion that the sign is probably the version that we see it would be appropriate to the district, but we need to resolve, you know, we need to deal with this other issue first. I mean, in other words, it's tabled, and as soon as we get some other information from the building owner, from you, from whomever, and maybe from a meeting, we go down, look at the building. As soon as we get that additional information, we can have another meeting and get you done.
Rebecca, how would that work if we had spent a week trying to get in contact with the building owner, and then, you know, a week's worth of time to try to have a conversations with them and see if they're interested in doing this? You know, a week, 2 weeks later, how would we go about saying, okay, we're going to go ahead and approve this? Do we have to come into a meeting? Is this something?
You'd have to meet again. For a special meeting, we would have to do a 48-hour notice, but if we're gonna give a week time frame for them to make contact and come up and see if this is something that is feasible, then we would just need 48-hour notice after that's decided.
Okay, could we do, worst case scenario, building owner is not interested whatsoever, could we, this is what I'm have in my head, so this is the motion that I'm gonna try to entertain here, is that the sign is approved pending the outcome of a conversation with the building owner. Is that conceivable? Is that something we could do?
I thought I made the motion.
I didn't
It's a little long-legged.
Okay,
You're probably gonna have to condense it some.
I
Can I
think you
condense
could
it?
make a conditional approval pending those criteria. You could do that.
well, my motion was, is that the application be tabled or whatever, tabled without prejudice, with the notion that we need to resolve this other issue, and as soon as we do, then we can make we'll make a decision, have another meeting, make a decision.
Do you?
I mean, this is a kind of a complex
Yes.
thing.
Sorry, my other just popped into my head. You had talked about the drop ceiling on the inside. I'm trying to think of how much lower that is. That's why I looked at the picture again to see, because I know that that's gonna cost $40,000 to redo our drop ceiling, because I've looked into it.
You wouldn't be redoing the entire drop ceiling. I can
Well,
show you a
if
couple
it-
of examples.
So if
However,
it goes where the window is, we would have to.
If it's already below
If it's
the
already
window.
below the window.
however, if you put frosted glass, say, for argument, in the entresol windows, like people have done, it doesn't matter if you have a drop ceiling or not, because that'll be hidden. That would be probably the
So then we would have to
cheapest
replace the glass
the
too. If the glass is still there, we would have to replace the glass in those areas.
way. Or hang,
There's some
hang
frosting
curtains or something.
coatings and things. I mean, I think there's
Okay.
something that could be done to the glass. Well, I'm not sure about how I feel about that. No,
You
no,
could-
as I'm
I'm
saying.
not a
it, but-
contractor in
Lord,
any
are
way, so I don't know.
Would you like to just see us schedule another meeting, either 1 week or 2 weeks from tonight, or is the room even available? The 18th would be 2 weeks from tonight.
Let me look on the city
Should we
calendar.
wait to see when we can meet with the building owner?
I'm thinking if you can't get his attention in 2 weeks, he's not gonna call you back.
Does he live in Oklahoma City?
That I don't know. I don't deal with all of the billing. Our corporate office does, and they're the ones that contact them, and so I will.
Well, yeah, I would imagine the YMCA has had numerous facilities and other you know, we ran across this with McDonald's and other big corporate, you know, where they are made to fit, they make themselves fit into the district instead of what you see on the hill out there. So, I mean, they may have been through this corporate, but it may not be a corporate decision.
I don't know of any of our locations that are within a historical district besides us for our association.
This
And
room
you're
is not
nonprofit.
available on the 18th.
Problematic.
Do what?
This room is not available on the 18th. There's a 5:30 to 7 o'clock meeting.
Okay,
What about the 11th?
It is available on the 11th.
That would give us 1 week, be on a short string, but I hate to hold her up any longer. I mean, just like you said, it wasn't our fault the windows got covered up, but it wasn't her fault either. And she's trying to run a business. She's been over a year without a sign.
well, whatever ends up being done is gonna be there for a long time. So if
That's
it
right.
takes us a few extra
Probably
days,
is.
a few extra weeks,
Okay. I would move
painful, but-
if you guys are good with a meeting next Monday, you don't, do I have anything next Monday? I have to
I
check
do.
with my boss over here.
I can't do next Monday.
Okay.
So you need somebody else for your
Oh, you
quorum.
cannot be here Monday? Okay.
I think you need one other person for.
And I think
quorum.
Patrick's gone for a couple weeks. And James is off, so that's not gonna work.
well, maybe the first step then is to meet with the billing owner, see when you can get him up here or go talk to them, whatever you think. And if you say, well, yeah, he can be here next Wednesday or whenever, a week from Wednesday, we can all meet and talk about that.
Okay, so he has a motion on the table, out to table this until meeting with the building owner.
I'll
Yes.
second.
Yes.
Second?
Okay, Aaron Brown,
Yes.
Lynn Bilodeau,
No.
Joe Chappell,
Yes.
Amy Locke,
Yes.
Bud Lentz.
Yes.
Okay. So what is our next step?
Yes.
The next step is get him in contact, or us in contact with the building owner. And pending that conversation, if we can encourage him to even look at this, and then we will work out a schedule in order for us to come back and give the final go-ahead and approval for the sign, because we all like the sign, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And
There's
it'll
no
be
issues.
approved. I
Yes,
mean,
there's no issues with the sign.
Okay. Perfect.
And,
Yep.
Lud, do you have a card you can give her so she can get
Yes.
some contact info to you?
okay.
Be very good.
And just an option, I'll have to check the schedule. We may be able to use the conference room upstairs on the 3rd floor to have a special meeting depending on
On the
when,
18th.
yes.
Okay.
And even throughout the day, the museum or the Carnegie Library, we can meet over there because it'll only be for a couple of minutes or whatever. So the museum is available as well. So just long enough for us to come in and do an official and say, you can have your sign. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I gave it a shot.
Thank you.
So you'll try to make contact with the building owner and see what their pulse is, maybe get a meeting or whatever. Then you can let the office know, right? Then you can let us know, and then if we need to, that would be really good.
So my next question, now that all of this is here, if the building owner is wanting to go forward with that kind of construction, can I, more so we do our annual campaign, kind of right now through February. can we put up a temporary type banner
Yes.
so that at least people know where to go whenever we have our kickoff?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
Temporary banners, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's not.
It'll just be like a vinyl look,
Yeah.
Right.
the exact same.
yeah.
Okay.
That's just fine.
I think that in the ordinance, it's spelled out the nature of a temporary sign for special events and a maximum of 2 months or 6 months or whatever.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for your time,
Thank
for your
you.
patience.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You.
Let us know and we'll come down there.
All right, moving on. Staff comments. Do we have any comments from staff today?
2 quick comments. We do have a vacancy on this commission, so if you know of anyone, feel free to have them fill out an application and send it my way. If we don't have anything, I'll try to post something on the city website by the end of the week. And then Jim Hankey's retirement party will be in conjunction with our employee appreciation party on Friday the 15th from 11:30 to 1 at the American Legion building. And you all are more than welcome to come for that.
All right, thank you.
11:30 to 1?
Yes.
Okay. Comments from commissioners?
I have a question.
Okay.
If someone lives, I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to make sure. If someone lives outside the city limits but owns a building in downtown Guthrie, works in downtown Guthrie, can they serve on this commission?
No,
Not, if their home's outside the city limits, they cannot.
that's what we figured out, because with the Historical Society, we were trying to get somebody on that lived outside that had a building downtown, and they said no.
I see, okay. Just curious.
Well, that's written in the ordinance, right?
It's somewhere, I'm not sure where.
But that can be modified if we need to.
I think the city council would have to modify it.
Yeah, the
Okay,
city council
okay.
have to do that.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
I hate that we did that to her, but I still think that this is the kind of thing that is so important. And when you drive around downtown Guthrie, you see lots of places this has happened, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
And
you see
any
less-
time they start to change the facade, you know, it's different, like that, what is that? The Oklahoma building that has all the green stuff, like near the art center, you know, that green.
Oh, yeah.
You know, no, if they wanted to put up a sign on the green stuff, I can see approving the sign. But once they tear the green stuff down, then you gotta say, what are you gonna replace it with?
That.
And this is sort of the same thing.
That's exactly, once they.
Whatever
tear
the
it out,
facade that was up there is gone. They're starting over from
Once they
scratch.
remove
So.
something, I hate to be,
But that's your opportunity to create positive change. And even if we don't, at least we tried. Is
well,
my
and yeah, we've done that numerous times over the years where someone wants to make a change and we were able to kind of facilitate it in the direction of something that would be, you know, in keeping with the ordinance. And I mean, that's what's made the difference, I think. So this is a great opportunity, but I feel like you do. I feel kind of guilty. Being on this commission is not easy.
no.
No, and it's one of those, we have to argue in order to make sure that we come up with the fairest and the approach possible.
But the main reason for us to be here in the
Is to
and
get
have-
these buildings back to the historical
Yeah, is to preserve and protect and promote the
preservation.
visual environment in downtown Guthrie. And I think there's been so much done, as you know, you can see, and it's hard to do that.
It is.
You don't make any friends being on the commission. Well, not
No.
normally. But I feel good about this, that maybe we could, you know, this may be a positive thing for us.
All right, cool. Anything else?
Are there any tax credits or something like that?
Maybe if the Congress doesn't get rid of it,
I thought they
It's
were
in-
already,
Yeah.
it's in danger.
yeah, yeah, yes.
I think it's been through one house, it came out of committee, it went through the House, and I think the Senate delayed the vote on it. So the historic tax credits may not exist anymore, depending on the Senate. So, we'll see.
That's scary.
It is terrifying. It's terrifying. All
Well,
right, guys.
once the material has been removed, so you have a blank slate in a sense. I mean, I mean, just looking at it from this point, I don't know that it would cost all that much to bring that back, doing what we're kind of proposing. It's not gonna take much to take the white paint off the pilasters up there and maybe repaint the steel I-beam to match the bricks or whatever color you want. And maybe once we get up there on a ladder, you could see that there's still framing for some windows that were there or still are there. I don't, it'll cost, but I don't think it's gonna be a major renovation like some of these others have done. Cause there's, some of that material is still there.
All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
That's so moved.
I'll second.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry.